we're taking these off. They're reflecting the light too much and it's driving me crazy. Hello. So I decided that I wanted to do a reread of Little Women. And since I love Little Women so much, I wanted to share it with y'all, my reread of it. And I actually did already start reading this book last night, but I wanted to share just my thoughts and my opinions on it in this reread vlog. I probably won't read Little Men just because they are on, well, I started rereading it. It is like bigger than I remember it being, which is totally fine because I love the story. But I think if I do end up reading the rest of them, it'll probably be next year sometime. But I did really want to reread the first book. When I started this video, I thought I was just going to read Little Women, but I ended up reading 2 more books along the video. So I ended up reading A Christmas Carol and The Quiet Little Woman, also by Louisa May Alcott, which I'll tell you about as I read them along the way. But I just wanted to pop in and say I did end up reading more books this video than just Little Women, but that is the main part of this video. So I read the first, I don't know, 50 pages, 60 pages, and I forgot how much I love how this book starts. How it starts directly with Christmas. Like the first line is, "Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents," grumbled Joe, lying on the rug. And that just, it makes me so happy to hear that because that's also the first line of, I think, the movie with the 1995 or 1998 movie. That I love that version. I know people like the 2019 one, but I'm biased forever because I watched that one first and it's just perfect to me. I need to rewatch the 1990 I need to rewatch the 2019 one because I've watched, I think, almost every adaptation of Little Women that's in English, obviously. There's one of them that I don't think I ever finished it because I couldn't find the last 2 episodes. I read the part with Beth where she gets to the piano and she's playing at the piano at the Lawrence's house, and I actually started crying because if you haven't read this book, kind of not really spoilers, the old gentleman gives her a piano. And I just was bawling because in the movie, because my brain while I'm reading this is flashing back between all the movies versions that I've seen and the book and my favorite movie. So I'm like experiencing them all at the same time. And I'm just like seeing the expressions of those characters and actors in the book. And it's just, it made me bawl. I love Beth so much. I think reading it this time around, I'm feeling Beth probably the most of all the characters because I used to relate to Joe a lot, but I think in my heart I'm more of a Meg or a Beth. Not really an Amy, but Meg or a Beth. But I'm so excited to keep reading this. I will keep you updated of what part I'm in and how I'm liking it and stuff like that. This probably will be a full spoiler vlog just because it is a classic, and if I don't give spoilers, this is going to be a very, very short video. So it will be a spoiler vlog, but if you haven't read this book, I would really recommend reading it because I love this book so much with my whole heart. This is like, this encapsulates Christmas time and just honestly life for me. I love this book. One thing about me is I love a good, what's it called? I love a good classic. They're what I read when I was younger and they're part of my soul. I'm trying to reach out and read more, you know, popular books, I guess they're called. But to me, my first and dearest love will always be classics. So it's 10:30 and I realized I haven't read anything today. So we're gonna read some more of Little Women to continue my streak. Why does this taste like banana bread? So I did some reading when I was at the library today, and it was really fun because I was just listening to the audiobook. Speaking of which, I need to update in my physical book where I am the audiobook. I've just been listening to it because it's on Spotify and my Spotify hours renewed, so probably I'm just going to listen to the whole audiobook on Spotify, which I'm actually really excited about because I really love the audiobook. I really like reading the physical book, so I think I'll go back and forth, but I'm really loving the audiobook. So I'm currently like 177 pages through, but I just finished part 1 of the book, and I forgot how happy this book makes me feel because they end part 1 in Christmas again. It starts in Christmas and then it ends in Christmas and it ends with their father coming home from the war, and it's just It made me cry. Like, I was sitting there in the library just crocheting when my stuff was uploading, and I was like resisting the urge to bawl my eyes out because I was like, this is so sweet. Just their father coming home and telling them all the stuff that he noticed in their lives. Like, in the movies, their father isn't that big of a person, but in the book, he's like, it's like Marmee and their father, and then the girls, and like, it's just so beautiful. But the fact with Meg basically getting herself engaged by being so contrary to her aunt never ceases to be funny to me. I think my audiobook is slightly different than this version. I have to see if it's in my other versions, but the audiobook ended where it said, so grouped, the part one ended, I'm making up all of this, that my book ends saying, so grouped, the curtain falls upon Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. And in my audiobook, it said something like, so grouped, the like father fell on Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. Yeah, and it's in this one. So I have I love me a good anthology, which basically, an anthology is just a bunch of different books or short stories together. So this is my Louisa May Alcott anthology. So it has Little Women, Little Men, and then I think, I don't know if it has much else. Aww. I just found a note from my brother put in this book. Sorry, I'm getting so out of sorts. I don't know how many books this one has in it. I know it has quite a few of them though. Yeah, it has Little Women and Little Men. And then I don't think it has Jo's Boys, which I have in another. I want to get pretty copies of all of them, but I've read a lot of her short stories, but this one has a lot more. So someday I want to go through and read the entirety of this one just because I love Louisa May Alcott. But anyway, back to the thing I was saying. This one ended saying, so grouped, the curtain falls upon Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. But then the audiobook I was listening to, and this one says, whether it ever rises again depends upon the reception given to the first act of the domestic drama called Little Women. And I found that so hilarious because it's like YouTube thumbnail clickbait in a book. When she finished the first half of the book, she's like, if people like this, I can write more. So basically she writes that in this, and I just think it's so funny that it's like, yeah, like and subscribe for part 2, you know, but just in book form. It was so funny to me. People have been doing that since the dawn of time. But I'm thinking about retroactively changing this video to be include maybe 2 books, maybe, because this is gonna be a short video and it needs something else in it. So I'm thinking maybe I'll read like, maybe her Christmas. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna also read The Quiet Little Woman because that's her Christmas anthology. I love me a good anthology. So I'll finish reading this one probably, honestly, with my tracker in the next couple days because I only have about half the book left. And then I'll read that one because it's really short. I could read it in one sitting, but I just, I love her writing. It just makes me feel so happy. And it's giving me that like jittery feeling inside. The thing is with this book, I love the first half of it so much because it has them as their family and as they're growing up, and as Jo starts to get like sad with Meg growing up and leaving, you as the reader, because Jo is basically the main character, you feel it in her sadness. And so the second half feels so sad because Jo is so sad that there's all this changes happening until she finally like finds happiness and she gets like happy again. But it's just so bittersweet, the second half of the book, because you're like, oh, these characters, they're so happy, and then so many sad things happen, and then Jo like moves forward in her life and she meets Mr. Bear, and it's just, or is it Dr. Bear? Professor Bear. And it's so beautiful. I love this book so much, and it's hitting even deeper now that I'm older. Like the first half of the book used to be my favorite, but I think I might like the second half more on this reread now that I'm older and I'm like in the growing up phase myself. These books are so good. I don't think I'm ever gonna grow out of my love for these books, even though on rereading it definitely does read like a book for younger people. Like there's definitely morals at the end of each chapter, like because it's written kind of as a collection of stories that happen to them with kind of an overlying plot towards the end. The end of the book has more of a plot than the beginning of the book. If you've ever read Anne of Green Gables, it kind of flows the same way as that, but the end of each chapter kind of has a moral put onto it, which is a little bit more prevalent than I remember it being when I was younger. So I think it is written more towards a younger audience, but it still is beautiful and I love it. I need to go to bed, but I'm probably going to keep listening to the audiobook while doing some crocheting. Hi y'all. So I am, how far away am I through? Like 29 chapters in to Little Women now, and it is so much fun to listen to. I'm listening to the stuff about Meg, and there really is a huge tonal shift between the first half of the book and the second half of the book, where the first half of the book really just feels like little girls going and not really getting into scrapes, but just doing things and living life and having a fun childhood, even though it's kind of traumatic, but everyone's childhood is traumatic, you know. And then the second half of the book, it's like, yep, these girls are grown up now, and this is them growing up, and this is them dealing with their life, and this is them dealing with like all these trials, and it just gets darker just because life does get darker after childhood, and it feels so different to listen to. And I'm really enjoying the second half this listen, when mostly I would love the first half when I was reading it when I was younger, but I think I'm really loving the second, and it's a very interesting change in myself too. But I'm reading this and I keep wanting to read other things because I think I've been reading so many different reads at once for the past like couple months that just listening to one book is making me feel like bouncy. But at the same time, I'm like, I just want to finish this book. Like, it's not that difficult. So I think I might start listening to A Christmas Carol, because I want to listen to it on Spotify before my Spotify listening hours go out, because it's on Libby, but I'd have to wait like 5 months for it. So I think I might start listening to that on Libby before my Spotify hours like run out, and then I'll finish listening to whatever I have of Little Women with the rest of my hours, because I think that book is only like, A Christmas Carol is only like 4 hours long, and I really want to listen to a Christmas book. So I might start listening to that later today or tomorrow. We'll see what I'm like feeling. But I also really started wanting to read a Casey West book because she has a new book coming out at the end of this month. I think it's the 31st. And then she has another book just announced that's going to come out at some point. And I love her books. I was thinking about, what's it called? Not Lucky in Love. I do really love that book. I think that's one of the only ones I own. I own 2 of hers. Yeah, I have Lucky in Love and I have Borrow My Heart. But I really love P.S. I Like You. Like, I was thinking about it because I was, I was watching Destiny Sidwell's, not her newest video, but one of her bookmas videos. She was talking about some book, and for some reason it reminded me of P.S. I Like You. And that book is so cute. It is so cute, and I just love, because she was talking about a book where she loved the characters, and I was like, is there any book where I just like really loved the main characters? I'm like, yeah, P.S. I Like You. Like, I felt the girl. I don't remember what her name is, but I was like totally in her shoes, and every time I reread that book or re-listen to it, I love it even more. I love the poetry that she wrote for that book too. It's so beautiful. Just so you know, those books aren't like, they're definitely YA rom-coms, but they're very cute YA rom-coms, and I like them a whole lot better than any other ones I've ever read, and I've read a lot of them. But there's one of her most recent books, Borrow My Heart. I actually own it because I had a job at the time and I was like, what do I want to buy with my money? Let's buy one of my favorite author's books. And so her covers have changed over the years because I think this style got more popular, but I love her old covers. They're so nostalgic. I really, really want to buy those books at some point and own them all because they're so cute. I love them. And they're all really, really clean. But this one I read, I think I was really depressed. Really, really depressed. And I want to reread it because I didn't really enjoy it because I think I was just in a sad vibe. So I liked it, but I didn't like love it. And so I think I really want to reread it just because I think I will really love it on the reread, because I've done every one of her books that I've read the first time and not really loved. I've reread it and loved it more just because she's one of my favorite authors in the world. And this one's pretty short, so I need to get out of the house. I love y'all. I will give you an update on my reading again later, but yeah, I'm not that far into it. I forgot how much I really don't like Meg when she grows up. I think I'm a lot like her when she's younger. I don't know if I'm like any of the characters. Like, I think passions wise I'm more like Jo because she loves to write and I love to write and she's more literary, but I don't think I'm tomboyish like her. I think I'm more like Amy, where she just likes to do her passion and she wants to succeed. I guess I'm an Amy with the interest of a Jo, if that makes any sense. Well, that's kind of humbling, actually, because no, I'm not, because then I also want to marry for love like Meg. I guess I'm just all of them rolled in one, which is not a bad thing at all. And I also love Marmee, she's so good. Laurie, it's so interesting. I was reading it, and they have a subtle foreshadow of Amy liking Laurie in, like, the first 12 chapters or something like that, because it describes Amy looking at Laurie in a new light and being like, he's a good boy, isn't he? And then Marmee's like, yeah, he's a fantastic boy. And then ever since then, she like tries to interact with him and she's like coquettish around his friends and all this stuff. And she's only 3 years younger than him, where I watched the 1960 something, I've talked about it multiple times, but the older version of the movie, but not the oldest. There's an even older one that I've never seen. I need to see it. I love all the renditions of Little Women. In that one, they play a girl who I think she's like 12. Like, she really is 12, because at the beginning of the book, Amy is 12. As she grows up, she's 16 in the second half of the book, and so she's older, and Laurie's only 3 years older than her, I think. Yeah, because Joe's only 3 years older than her, so there's not like a huge age gap. Like, it's really not that bad. So reading it, I'm like, okay, I actually am not like hating it as much as I did when I was younger, because when I was younger, I was like, she's so much younger than him, and he grew up and watched her grow up. I'm like, yeah, but also when she met him, he was like 15, Laurie was, and she was 12. Like, yeah, that's kind of a big gap, but like, that's the difference between like a sophomore and, no, that's the difference between a freshman and a 7th grader, I think. Yeah, like a freshman and 7th grader, which is the same as like 3 school grades, which when you're in college is nothing. So like, yeah, it's still weird, but like, I think Meg was literally like 17 when, who knows how old John Brooke is, like 25? Fell in love with her, so not as problematic as anything else that happened in that world. But I really love how Joe and Laurie, like, Joe really does know how badly they would quarrel, because you can see it throughout the book that like they're really good friends, but they're really good friends. Like, they're not good at falling into each other's will, really. And Joe is really good at seeing that, and I think Laurie, in the next books you see it even more, and like Little Men and Joe's Boys and Farther Down the Road, that Laurie and her really are just good friends, and Laurie and Amy are a really, really beautiful couple, especially with their little daughter. It's so sweet. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point, but I need to get out of my house because I'm feeling a little bit tired and antsy. Also, I'm so sick of my hair. Why am I still touching it?
The minute it was made, Joe saw her mistake, but fearing to make the matter worse, suddenly remembered.
Oh, this is terrible lighting. I can't keep it like this, but I literally love the way that it looks like this. It is so cozy. I'm listening to the Christmas Carol right now, so I am as festive as possibly can be. I think I'm a figment of an underdone potato. I'm listening to the Christmas Carol right now, and I'm liking a lot more as an audiobook. Hi guys, so I did some more listening. I don't know if I got any videos of me listening, but I think this morning I finished listening to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. And honestly, as I was reading it, listening to it, I didn't think I was going to rate it as highly as I did. I really liked it. Like, the first 2 times I read it, I think were for school, or maybe once I picked it up myself and read it, but I was young and I didn't really understand Dickens. And this time I was laughing at the jokes. Like, everything was hitting differently than it did when I was younger. And I was really enjoying the way that he was describing things, and the ending like actually got me to tears. Like, it was really beautiful, and I never felt that way from that book before. So it's getting 5 stars from me. Like, it's really, really good. There's a reason it's a classic. So yeah, that's my update on A Christmas Carol. I really like that book. I think I want to get a really pretty copy of it and stick it on my shelf sometime. That'd be fun. But with Little Women, I listened to A Christmas Carol in between because I was waiting for it, because I wanted to listen to it on Spotify, to use up my Spotify hours, because if I didn't listen to it, then I think I would have used up all my Spotify hours with Little Women. Or I wouldn't have? No, I wouldn't have used up all my Spotify hours with Little Women, and I would have had a little bit left, and I would have had to listen to something else. So I was like, but I wouldn't have had enough time to finish the book. So I was like, I'll listen to it now and then finish Little Women either physically or find another audiobook online, because it's public domain. So I'll find another audiobook somewhere. So I listened to as far as I could get with that, and I am literally the chapter where Beth dies. And I'm actually really sad because I'm really, really close to the end. I'm probably gonna listen to it and finish it tonight. I'm just really sad because I was listening to it and I was like, oh, I wonder what chapter I'm on. So I like looked it up in the book so I can mark my place, and I was like, I don't know. It's just so sad, and I don't want to listen to it with my new brain and my new understanding for this book and love for it, because I know it's gonna just tear my heart out. But I need to do that like right now. I might as well get my reaction to it. It'll be really dramatic because I'm wearing mascara, and it's not waterproof mascara. Also, I'm really Christmassy right now because I was filming a Christmas video. Scary short stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long, long ago. I need to close my blinds. Only like a paragraph in. I figured it out. It's Pilgrim's Progress that they got. They weren't Bibles, they were Pilgrim's Progress. I want to read Pilgrim's Progress at some point. Oh, my sister, passing from me out of human care and strife, leave me as a gift those virtues which have beautified your life.
Blurred and blotted, faulty and feeble as the lines were, they brought a look of inexpressible comfort to Beth's face, for her one regret had been that she had done so little, and this seemed to assure her that her life had not been useless, and that her death would not bring the despair she feared. I used to think I couldn't let you go, but I'm learning to feel that I don't lose you, that you'll be more to me than ever, and death can't part us, though it seems to. For love is the only thing we can carry with us when we go, and it makes the end so easy. The birds came back in time to say goodbye to Beth. Why is that so beautiful? She is such a brilliant writer, because I'm so sad, but I'm also so happy, and she writes it in that way to make you feel that way. That is one of the saddest things I think I have ever read, is that Amy never gets to say goodbye to Beth. Like, she says bye when she goes across the ocean, but like, she doesn't get to say goodbye at the very end. That is so sad. Oh. Okay, so I was finishing reading this chapter so I could give you my actual thoughts on this thing. So in the movie that I like, the 1965 one or something like that, Laurie is, they pull like the deepest, saddest parts of him. He has some depression, but in I think both movies that I've seen, they pull it out quite a bit more than he actually has. So in the 19 something whatever movie, when he sees Amy in Italy or whatever where they are, he says this line that always sticks in my brain, something like, I hate John Brooke. If Beth had a lover, I would envy him. I always knew I was supposed to be one of the March family, or something like that. And that line isn't in the book. I think I just like operated under the assumption that it was, but it's not, which actually makes me like Laurie's character a whole lot more, because I think that line in the movie, they put it in just for drama, but it really is not the way that Laurie's character is, so that makes me feel a lot better that it's not in the book. But both movies, I think the newer one, they make him a lot more depressed, which he does have the tendency to do in the book, but it's not big. Like, I don't think it was a huge part of the plot. Anyway, that was something I was thinking about, and I finished this chapter to make sure that what I was thinking about was real and true, and I wasn't just making stuff up in my brain.
So literally, like, for you it's gonna seem like 30 seconds later, but it's been like an hour or something. I just sat and finished this book. I didn't want to listen to it. I was so happy reading it that I wanted to keep reading it. Can you see? Yeah, it's just like, pretty sure there's mascara line somewhere on me. Oh, there is a mascara line. I wasn't sure whether that was a shadow. This book is so good. I don't know what else I can say about it. I love it. I love the ending. I really love the rest of the series too, and the ending does set it up very well for the rest of the series, which I don't know if I'm going to keep reading it this month, but I do want to keep reading it soon because I'm really loving it. But the very end, the last line says, "Oh my girls, however long you may live." Oh no, I'm crying. Okay. "Oh my girls, however long you may live, I can never wish you a greater happiness than this." 5 stars. Wonderful book. I love Ellen Montgomery. No, this is Louisa May Alcott. I love Louisa May Alcott. Now it's time for me to go to bed because I'm crying and I'm tired. In the 1870s, Louisa May Alcott made friends with 5 earnest fans of her best-selling Little Women. The young Lukens girls had written to Miss Alcott, telling her that they were so inspired by the examples of Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy that they, too, were launching their own literary publication. Soon the Lukens girls received a very special gift, a Christmas story from Miss Alcott about a lonely orphan girl who finds a family to love her. Following its publication, the story stayed in an old magazine until many years later a reader chanced upon it. Now it's available to Alcott fans once again, released by Honor Books for the very first time as a standalone volume. Having suffered mercury poisoning early in the Civil War, Louisa's strength had never been robust since then. Because she went to nurse people in the Civil War. That is so interesting. I didn't know that about her. Okay, so I just finished reading A Quiet Little Woman, A Christmas Story. So I guess when I was younger, I didn't really care to read forewords and like end of books, you know, where they talk about the stories a little bit more, especially if they're like this, where they're from an author, but the author's passed away, so like someone will write a foreword about it. I never cared to read it, but apparently I started reading about this, but then my boyfriend came in, so I got interrupted. But apparently she wrote stories for a girl's paper, and these little girls wrote to her like, "Hey, we started a paper because of the paper that they started in Little Women. And so they started, their paper actually got circulation. So they had like, I think it said 5,000 maybe at the end? 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. So they reached 1,000 subscribers and they were like, they sold it off because they couldn't keep going because it was just 5 girls doing it. Anyway, so Louisa May Alcott, at this time, she was like her work would go for a lot of money, but she would give them short stories for their paper. And so these are 3 of them that I think were found through there. Here, let me check something. Well, at least the first book in this was for their paper. I think the other 2 might just be other short stories that are Christmassy that like kind of fit the vibe. So they put all 3 of them in one book. But I just finished reading it. I've always loved these stories, but reading like the foreword and the end word and learning more about Louisa May Alcott herself, I didn't know she lived only like 50 years. Because she lived from, what was it, 1832 to 1888. That's like 55, 56 years, I think. That's really short. Like, and she accomplished so much. She wrote so many things. That's crazy. I was just sitting here and I was like, I really, you know, if you can meet a historical person, like I would want to meet her. Like just the stuff that she went through in her life and her writing and how beautiful it is and how much it touches me, my soul. Like everything I read by her, I really, really enjoyed. I love her books. Anyway, these were really cute short stories. They're very Christmassy. They definitely put me in the Christmas mood. And I guess this is the last book for this video because I decided I was going to do 3. At first I thought I was only going to do 1, but got changed to 3. I don't remember if I filmed an opening clip. So I'll give you my final thoughts on these books. Little Women, 10 out of 10 amazing. I want to keep reading the series. This book, probably a 4-star. It's not my favorite. No, it's a 5-star. It's a 5-star because of the nostalgia, and a 5-star honestly just for the first short story. And the last one, I really like the one with the horse. After rereading it, I really like the one with the horse actually. If you have a chance to read this book, you should. It's really short. I think I read it in like 30 minutes. Like really cute, really short, very much large print. I love Christmas books. They make me happy. A Christmas Carol, I really, really enjoyed the reread. Well, I guess the listen, because I don't think I've ever listened to it before, and I really, really enjoyed listening to it. I think if I ever decide I want to do a reread, I will listen to it because it was really, really interesting to read that way, and I got the humor more. I was actually laughing at parts. That was a good book. I'm glad I decided to listen to that. I'm kind of bouncing around mentally right now because I'm a little bit tired and I need to go to bed. But I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. This was actually really fun. I really enjoyed reading these books. I have some more books I want to get to before the end of the year. I want to do some more rereads. I have some more like newer books I want to read. I have some TBR stuff I might get to. I might do those videos later. I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening, but I will do some more reading after this. At least one more video for Bookmas, which I'm excited about. I'm going to start it either tomorrow or next week sometime, but I don't remember when this one's going to come out, but I will see you tomorrow for more Bookmas stuff. I don't know exactly what that video is because I don't have my planner with me, but I will see you tomorrow, and thank you for watching these videos, and Merry Christmas. I'm having so much fun. Goodbye.